you feel it, the burning in your spirit, welling deep inside. You got a beast inside. I know it's hard to tame it, it's harder to explain it. Can't even get a picture, no matter how you frame it. There's so much pressure with all these external stresses, and undoubtedly try to touch you. Gotta push them through the feeling, even though your mind is reeling. The power's deep inside and leads you if you were willing. Got the power. Can you feel the power? This is the hour to release your power. Got the power.
Welcome everyone to another episode of the Power Shut Up podcast. So we just finished the first month that we started season 3 of the Power Shut Up podcast, and we are now into October. This is especially special to me. Because we have a wonderful guest who has been here before, but we always have a great conversation, and I'm excited to have you all kind of join us in the process. So before we get things started and welcome her back for another great episode, I wanted to welcome everybody back to season 3. If you're just starting to tune in, welcome back to season 3 of the Power Shut Up podcast. We've had some amazing guests come on here, some great conversations. And actually, up until now, they've all been new guests to the platform, which is exciting. So yeah, that's, because sometimes I have some wonderful repeats, and we always have a good time. So, and I will credit TikTok to that. I've met some wonderful people out on TikTok. They're doing wonderful things, and I love sharing it. So they have been here, and I'm hoping that there are going to be some more exciting guests this month, because you all know that this is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. So I will continue to talk about that, and hopefully have some guests on that can also share their testimonies of things they've gone through. So I wanted to say, now, we usually say this every week. We say, first of all, before we get started, we say, happy birthday. But our guest is also an October baby. So happy birthday to our guest. We'll introduce her in a minute. But special happy birthday, because I don't know that I've ever had a guest that was on the show for the month that it was their birthday. Maybe I have, but I'm not sure. But happy birthday to everyone and to our wonderful guest for tonight. Also wanted to say happy anniversary to anybody who's celebrating an anniversary. And I wanted to send up prayers to anybody who's going through some difficult times. We know that everything is not always happy and, laughing and playing. Some people are really going through some hard times. And we, even sitting on this panel today, have been going through some stuff. So I'm really transparent over here. So it's not, even if we're smiling, it doesn't mean that there aren't things going on. So, and I say that to say, please check on your strong friends or your friends that you say, well, they're always happy. They're always going through. You never know.
Never know.
So just give them a call, send a text, something to let them know, hey, if you need something, I'm here. Because you never know who might be going through something, and they just haven't had a chance to reach out to you and share that with you. So sending up prayers to everyone. But thank you all so much for joining us tonight. We're gonna if we don't get into the conversation too quick, we're gonna have a couple of commercials. If not, we'll push it to the end when we close out. But I would like to welcome you to this episode with our guest, Victoria M. Holland, the Elevation Motivator.
Ooh.
Now, that's not all. That's just one area. Because there's many branches on this tree, right? But we're going to tap into this. And thank you all for everyone who's tuning in. Mama Dama said happy birthday to my Libra sister. So we got another birthday in the house. It's all birthdays up
Well,
in
I'm a
here.
Scorpio, so we still family.
Okay, but y'all the same month, so I got
Yes,
it.
we are.
Birthday. I know that's right. So thank you for tuning in. Y'all, please feel free to share this out to your family and friends. Like I said, it's Breast Cancer Awareness Month, so I would love for you to have people who are, celebrating their survival, to come on in and join us. I think this will be a great conversation. If you didn't
Yes.
see what I put when I was promoting and Victoria was promoting, you probably may be a little confused, like, oh, we get ready going to Disneyland? No, we'll tell you what we're talking about. But please like, share, comment, subscribe if you're on YouTube, so that you can catch all the shows. But what we're going to talk about tonight is this is something that Victoria started. She has a coaching company, and Victoria's going to tell you more about it. But this was one of my favorite. She held a class with this, but she also has done, I think one of your shows, the theme was Beauty and the Beast. And this was one of my favorites. So I decided Victoria has kind of been doing some other things, but she's coming back into the scene. And it was kind of like, what do we talk about? But I decided that I put beauty versus the beast mode. Which way are you showing up in the world? You'll get it once we start having this conversation. But I was fascinated with what she did with this topic. So Victoria, I kind of want you to kick things off, tell everybody a little bit about who you are, what you do, and then let's kind of start going into what beauty versus beast is all about.
Awesome. Lisa, it's always a pleasure to come back and be with you. We always have great times. We always do. And I want to shout out to all of you out there. If this is your first time watching Lisa, then I need you to watch every Thursday, because she's always giving nuggets. And I tease her all the time that my second Bible is The Power of Shut Up. And it still is my second Bible. But I am a certified master life coach. I specialize in personal development, and I also teach an array of classes called the Positive Self-Building courses, which one of the courses is building and rebuilding self-worth. And that's the part where the Beauty and the Beast came together to be a workshop, as well as a part of our teaching method. I'm gonna see. You said tell them more about me. What can I tell them, Lisa? Let's see.
Well, let's see. I mean, because look, I always forget about this part of what I do too, because I also do crafts. I don't talk about it a lot. I do crafts, but Victoria does too.
Yes, we are. We're crafter sisters.
Yes, we sure are. So we keep it going all around the circle, okay?
Yes,
but coach, pastor, crafter. She's being very humble this evening, but as you start to follow her on her journey of what she's doing, you'll catch up on everything. So she's doing a lot of things to empower and inspire people, but also in the crafting world, we just love to make people smile with things that we actually get to touch. So she understands, just like I do, that, just doing something with your hands and giving it to someone who sees the value in it for all the work you put into it really does make a difference. It makes me smile. So I love crafting for that reason too.
Yeah.
But this Beauty and the Beast, because the workshop was very powerful, but it's a great conversation that I think is ongoing. And I kind of want you to break down, what does it really mean when you say Beauty and the Beast? That we're kind of talking about the characters, so we can kind of relate it to the characters. But I had never broken down Beauty and the Beast this way. We all just saw it as a movie. It's a kid's movie, but Victoria put something else on it. So when she started to break it down, it was like, okay, there was a whole lot of messages in this. So Victoria, kind of kick things off for us.
Well, Beauty and the Beast is one of many different things that coaches and different people across the globe kind of use, characters like that, because it's easy for us to relate, especially us tenured aged individuals. If you're over the age of 40, you know about Beauty and the Beast. But when I started doing my own research, I would one, like I said, the class building self-worth. Our program with, the positive self-building courses are to reinvent the wheel for you to see what happened to yourself behind the scenes.
Mhm.
And so building your self-worth has to have started with some other things other than you just don't believe in yourself, right? So
Okay.
when we started doing the classes, I noticed that there were similarities to other pieces, and so Beauty and the Beast was one of my favorites when I was growing up to watch.
Mhm.
The Beauty and the Beast, and she, she dancing with this monstrous looking person, and all of that. But when you go back and you start applying yourself to seeing what the beast really is, one of the things that came out was we as individuals, we always let you see the outer, but we never let you see the inner.
Okay.
You got to be close to somebody. Like me and Lisa are pretty close. I share things with Lisa that I wouldn't share with everybody else, right?
Mhm.
So there's things that you know about me behind the scenes that many people don't know, right? Some people don't know how I even got started being a motivator. They don't understand what that process took me through to get to this place. But if I had opened you up and let you into my world, and if you think about Walt Disney, they let you into your world. They got all that theme because they want to, lure you into that this is a fantasy, but it's not a fantasy. So when I took the positive self-building class and I started thinking about building our worth, there's always a villain and there's always, that
Right.
particular person. So when you look at Beauty and the Beast, you automatically think the beauty is the queen. She's the main part of the story. She's not. When you start thinking about these characters, Beauty became what we want to envision that we are.
Mhm.
Perfect to the T, and we will run into trouble and somebody will save us. That's handsome, charming, riding on a white horse with it doesn't happen that way, y'all. It really doesn't. So when I started going through the process and learning about the characters,
Mhm.
and I started applying to saying, am I in beast mode or am I in beauty mode? That is one thing that we tie in and we look at things on different perspectives, right? Everybody has a personality that you don't always want everybody to know about. Well, Beauty had her personality behind the scenes too. When we looked at Beauty, she was skipping through the little garden and she was taking her books and somebody was talking about her in her books and why she got to read the same old books. It's because you didn't know why she took the book route. But do you not know that she made fun of people as she was even going through? Bella is her true name. See, some people never even knew what her real name was. Her real name is Bella. Bella Beauty is who I call her. But Bella had her own things that she did. She thought in some cases that she was due to be better than what they represented, right? Until she got to go into the castle and see some things that were different. Beauty and the Beast, all of the different characters. When you start thinking about the butler, then you think about the father. I don't want to give everything away because Lisa is one of Lisa's favorites. But when you start breaking in all of these characters and you go and understand what they're saying. See, one of the things that we don't do when we're building our self-worth is looking at the other person. Sometimes when we're looking at other people, we're saying, I see Lisa Washington, the great doctor, and she is, y'all. But some people don't know what it took you to get to be the doctor, right? You had to live life, but through that journey, there were things that we may not have always shined and been pretty about.
That's right.
We kind of held ourselves to a standard where we were always looking at the other guy and comparing ourselves.
True. True.
Beauty and the Beast is, when you talk about building that self-worth, and I'm gonna move this over just a little bit. When you start thinking about the false advertisement that we do, right? So when we look at even the story itself, it would talk about understanding what it looks like to look in the mirror and look in the mirror and say, can you say that you're in beast mode? Okay, beast mode means that beast mode. Okay, at least I'm getting excited. Okay, let me tell you this: Beauty and Beast is not a bad or good, right?
True.
Beauty represents what we think of the outer, perfect, cute, and all of that. Beast mode over here is this: you think it's ugly, bad, can't deal with it, nasty. That's absolutely possibly true, right? Because there is two sides to every person, at least.
At least. I was going to say at least, because it could be more.
You got those personalities, and even when we talk about it in the other classes, when you are in a certain arena, you put on a certain air. When I'm at church, I'm at church. Mm-hmm. When I'm in class, I'm the facilitator. When I'm on Lisa's show, I'm the guest. So I have to put on the hat, right? Mm-hmm. So with Beauty and the Beast, we brought out the fact that you can put on either hat and still be okay. The Beast himself was not bad. Adam was not bad, y'all. He was caught up in the circumstances. When you get caught up in your circumstances, you choose your attitude. You choose what you're going to say. Bella didn't know that he had issues that were far beyond him turning into the Beast. I bet you nobody out there, Lisa, can tell me what happened to make him be the Beast.
Well, I mean, and I think that most people wouldn't, because they don't dig deep enough into, and I'm one of those people that I can see a movie and I see the deep, I go way deep with it, and they're like, where did you get that from? We just watched the movie. But I'm usually pulling out lessons and oh my goodness, maybe that's why she did what she did. I'm breaking it down because I irritate my husband all the time with watching movies. But the reason why I love Beauty and the Beast and what you did with it is because, like you were saying, I mean, there's really, with Beauty, we just assume that it's all one, just beautiful, kind. Even when I did some research and looking up the traits of it, Beauty was just, she was kind, she was selfless, she was all this, and that's how they presented her surface. But really, the Beast was the character who transformed throughout the movie, which is, to me, that's the main character, because you watch him start from one way, and then through the connection, he becomes something different, which to me shows the value of, love and community anyway, that you got to come together, you got to work with somebody else. You don't have all the answers. So there was something for Beauty to learn from Beast, just as there was something for Beast to learn from Beauty. And usually we see it one way.
That's it.
Like that Beast was learning all these lessons so he could become a wonderful person, as if Beauty was already there. And sometimes that's how we carry ourselves in the world. Like there's not much for us to learn. We got it going on.
Yep. We know it all.
We'll teach you some things, and not really present ourselves in a way where we can also be teachable. So that's what I loved about this and how you break it down. And then you went into all the other characters, which that blew my mind, because I never even thought about Teacup and all of that stuff, that they were personalities too.
They were all personalities. And the thing that, when I say people don't even know how Beast became in the castle, you kind of miss it because the way the story kind of opens up. But think about our own selves. Mm-hmm. You don't know the story that brought me to the story, right? People don't know what brought you to the power of shut up until they sit down and hear your story. But how many of us actually take the time to do that? We don't. Right. We automatically look at, she's the author. I'm going to use Lisa. She's the author. She's the podcaster. That's all you know. But if you knew the Lisa that I know, the caring, the person who would listen, the one that would actually take time to get to know you. Our first conversation was what? I don't know what, it's about 2 hours. It started
Right.
out just talking, but when you started hearing the heart, and that's the thing that most people miss. When you meet somebody and you miss the heart, you don't know who they are. So when you actually find out that Beast was put into the castle actually by his mother, it was something that happened. I don't want to give you all of it because I want you to go back and look at it. But when you look at it this time, I want you to look at it through some X-ray vision eyes. I want you to act like you're Superman and you can see through it, because there's pieces that we forget at the beginning of a conversation with people, right? And the thing that is so unique about building your self-worth from this is that we take away from that 90% of people, 90% of people are still trying to figure out who they are based on the things that have happened in their past. So when you come across someone and we say we don't judge, but we do.
We do.
Let's be real. We do judge. Beauty and the Beast shows judgment from the beginning of the movie until the very last moment, right? Why is that? Because we are trained to not look at things from an open-minded standpoint. You have to learn how to change your mindset that everybody has purpose, right? Everybody has purpose. When you look at someone and you say, oh, they're angry, have you had the opportunity to find out if they're angry or if the expressions are fooling you, right? Sometimes you can look angry and it's not angry. I have a friend that someone told me, said, I saw her on your live and she never smiled the whole time. She frowned it, but you don't know. That's her face. She never changes. I've known her for
I've been judged. Yeah, I've been judged the same way. I mean, I don't know that I wore a smile. I don't think I wore a frown, but in I don't know what you would call it, just being observant. Because I'm really kind of observant and I take things in before I respond, react, and do all that stuff. So sometimes they're just seeing this stoic face and they immediately take it as, some people have taken it as a negative, or I thought she was this, I thought she was that. And based on what you were just saying, I think you are right. The majority of people just judge the person in that moment, because we can flip that script. And you can see someone who's smiling and, just so happy, and you can make an assumption, but you still don't know whether that's really how they feel, or you don't even know if, not only if it's how they feel, but you don't know how they got to that smile. So,
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it could have been that this has been a long 10 years of not being happy about anything, and now I'm ecstatic. And you're thinking that they've always been happy when today might have been the only day that they were happy.
That's it. That's it.
And so I take that to think about expectations and assumptions.
There we go. And those are the things that causes us to may miss out on the greatest opportunities dealing with the people that we deal with.
Mm-hmm.
Over the we've been doing this particular class for about almost 8 years.
Okay.
About 8 years. I went back and I was looking, I was like, oh, I was really doing some crazy little pictures and stuff to get people's attention. But when I looked at it, I'm like, okay, so when we brought, the beauty versus the beast, beauty of the beast, we kind of upgraded some things with it. But when we started looking at the percentages, when I started looking at what percentage of people don't even know how to describe themselves. When you think about building who you are or rebuilding who you are, can you sit down and write out 10 things that you would want somebody to look at you and be able to know?
Well, I think about every time we've done a conference or an interview or something like that, one of the hardest questions has always been when someone asks me, to tell them about me. And I think that there's several reasons we do that based on what we're talking about today, is that we're doubting how we're showing up. We might
That's
think,
true.
but we're also being concerned about how somebody else thinks that we're showing up. Because the other thing that I wanted us to kind of talk about was how sometimes we think we're showing up as the beauty. I mean, we are pretty sure that that's how we're showing up, and we're just doing our thing, boss chicks that we are, and the guys for y'all just manning up and doing your thing. But that's not always, it's not always the message that's being sent out. So you're
That's right.
perceiving yourself that way, but somebody else might be looking at you and seeing something totally different.
That's exactly right.
And if you don't ever check
Right.
yourself, you're going to make assumptions and expectations, and
Mhm.
then you'll never be able to grow from it because you think you're already there. A lot of times we think we already there, and we still got a ways to go.
We have a lot. It's, you know, we think that we're at 100%, and most of the time we're barely. Okay, I'm sorry, y'all. This y'all's bubble. You think you're at 90% proof, baby? You ain't even got to 40%.
Sometimes that's so
You're
true.
still working at it.
That's so true.
Life will bring challenges to you to continue to rebuild, reassign, and relook at some things, right? Now, the thing that most of us kind of step into is, I got hurt, I got bruised, and now I want to do something. But this is the thing. In order for you to get ready to be you got to become clean with yourself. That you're all, first of all, that you're ready to take a real honest look at yourself, right? Because a lot of us don't want to look at ourselves honestly, you know, because we're fearful of what we see in the mirror, right? We're totally fearful. But this is the thing. When Beast in the movie looked in the mirror and saw, what did he do? He destroyed the mirror because he didn't like what he saw in the mirror. Yes. Can you look in your mirror right now, in your mind? Can you look in your mirror and say that you don't want to throw something through that mirror and break it into a million pieces? There's times that we are dealing with life, and life has not been good, right? So we put on this mask. We put on this facade that everything is okay until you break your mirror. When you break your mirror, it's awful. Everybody's going to see your black holes behind you, right? The thing about, you know, the things that we do with social media now, you know, you don't see that I have a green screen up behind me. You don't see that. What you see is this beautiful bookshelf behind me, and it looks like I'm sitting in this amazing office. But baby, that's a facade. It's a picture. How many of us are still living in picture mode? Are you really ready to bring yourself out of that mode and say, here's the real me? I'm a beast. I'm a beast because I can pull down everything that I need to pull down and be able to function. See, the thing is, Bella was functioning as the beauty, and she thought, until she got into the castle and came across the challenge of somebody who had been put in that position. See, this is the thing. You got to remember, he was put there.
Right.
She got there.
Right.
She went there on her. She went into the castle on her own. Now I know what you're going to say. Yeah, she went in. She was looking for her dad. La, 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 la. But she went there. She had a choice. This is the thing. Beast didn't have a choice. He had to deal with what was happening to him when it happened. He was put there. He had to deal with it. So he was tense. He was full of, I'm not even going to say he was
anger, stressed. I mean,
he had so many things that he
scared, was fearful. I mean, everything.
So you think about you coming into his home that he has been safeguarded by the spoon, the pot, and you know, until they come to life and you figure out who they really are. But he was safe with the people that only would talk to him about his issue.
Okay.
And in some of those cases, they didn't even talk about his issues. They appeased him. They
Yeah.
kept the curtains closed because he didn't want the light to come in. They appeased him. But then here comes this little chick who thinks she got it going on. This little chick who she thought, well, you're going to release my daddy and you're going to keep me here instead. I'm going to run this house. She wasn't running anything until she had a conversation with him and saw who he was. See, there's so many times when we are dealing with our own different personalities that we don't take in consideration that the person that's watching us is the person who's going to glean from you what they need. Now,
Right.
he already knew who he was. He knew in his mind there was no hope. He was ugly. He was going to be stuck in that castle. So he didn't care what he told her. He didn't care if her feelings got hurt. Think about it. He snapped off at her because she thought she was going to change him. See, this is the thing. You can't change nobody if you ain't ready to change yourself.
Well, and not only that, she thought her beauty, just who she was just going to carry her through, and that everybody understood this definition of who I am, so you would treat me as such. Mm-hmm. But him having gone through what he went through, the beauty didn't mean anything to him. It was like, that doesn't mean anything to me. And I think that's where people get caught up too, because they have these expectations and assumptions of how I'm going to be treated because this is what I've done. This is what I did. This is what, and we get caught up in that. And I think, like you said, the look in the mirror, and I really took that to, I equate that a little bit to when we were going through the COVID time, or C-19, or whatever they want to call it. And I think that was the struggle for people, is that now I can go out in the world, I can go to work, I can hang out with my friends, and I can put on, as you spoke about, the mask, and, just kind of show up the way I need to, and then I can run back home and do what I need to do. But now that we're all home, and you can't hide it but for so long, and then when it comes out, not only are you shocking the people that you're with, you shocking yourself, which is why he didn't like what he saw, because we know most of the time, I'm not saying all the time, most of the time we know when we're not showing up at our best. We just make excuses for why we're showing up, how we're showing up. Like it's somebody else's fault, or they said this to me, or they said that to me. But we know when we're not showing up at our best. I think the question is, are we checking ourselves?
Nope.
Or do we just hide it and blame it on somebody else, and then we never fix it? Because if you don't address it, if you don't acknowledge it, how are you supposed to fix it?
That's it.
And he was being forced to do it.
Yeah, he was forced to come to the realization of who he was.
Yeah.
He was forced to, that's the thing. One of the first week that we talk in the class is that, he was forced to recognize all the false narratives that he had. And so the question is, can you be a beast and say to yourself, I can deal with my negatives? See, that's real beast mode. That's better than being the boss right there. Because he took on the challenge and he ripped it apart and said, I'm going to deal with my brokenness. I'm going to deal with the dude in the mirror. I'm going to deal with why I'm here and what's making me mad. Can you be a beast in your life and say, look, this is why I'm upset with myself? See, he was the dude. And
that's the positive beast, right?
Yes. And you got to be positive about it, because if you can recognize what your true false is, what your true truth is, then you're able to say, okay, now I am ready to build my self-worth. I'm ready to take on the challenge. Okay, so when you look in the mirror, you see one eye. Well, I don't wear eyelashes because I can't put them on. I can't do them things, Lisa. My daughter, when I gotta wear that stuff, she puts it on. Thank God for makeup artists in the family. But when you go to put those little fake eyes on, can you be truthful that you don't have eyelashes? I got eyelashes, they're just fine. But at the same token, if I needed to improve it,
right,
can I be honest with myself? That's when you the beast. When you can say, baby, I'm going to work on this. I got to do this thing.
That's the beast this way and not
Uh,
the beast that way.
there
And
you go.
that's where I think and I like that you said in the beginning we think beauty, and then the negative of that is the beast. But there's a positive on each side of this, because beauty can be very ugly,
Yep,
or it
it
can be
was.
beautiful, and beast can be a beautiful thing or a very ugly thing. They both can do it. And I think somebody in the chat said that there's a little of each, and I think that that's when we can start to grow, is when we recognize that it's not one or the other. A lot of times we can't, and a lot of times we carrying around the opposite of what we think we are, because we got all the answers. We got, we know how to do this. We know how to do that. So we're busy telling everybody else what they need to be doing. And more than most of the time, are we, like you asked that before, are we having that same conversation with ourselves?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So that it doesn't scare us when somebody else has that conversation with you and you like, not me.
Yeah.
Yeah, you.
Because you have to actually say to yourself, look, when I see that mirror's not going to lie to me. That mirror's not going to hide anything. It can't, look, I don't care if you say 199 times, mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the greatest of them all. The mirror going to come back and say, it ain't you. I mean, look even.
It depends on what day you looking in it, right?
Yeah. And if you say, mirror, do I look good? The mirror's like, well, you could do a little bit better with this, but you are, but can you say that to yourself? There's sometimes we want to push the negative, the false narratives in our life to the side, and let me put on my mask of beauty.
And you start to believe it, don't you?
Yeah. And what was that movie? I can't remember it now. Because I compared Jim Carrey's movie to Beauty and the Beast as well. When he changed the green, yes, that was The Mask. But what was unique about that was the mask, when he put it on, it sucked to his face. It became him.
Yep.
So are you going to become completely beast? Are you going to become completely beauty? Or are you going to take the good with the bad and decipher when it's necessary to acknowledge it, right? Because Bella was curious.
Mm-hmm.
Her curiosity is what got her in trouble, what made her think that she knew it all. She thought because she read all the books in the world that she knew everything. And the other girls even made fun of her. You reading the same book over and over, baby. They were even telling her, you keep looking at yourself the same way and you're not evolving, right?
Well, and think about this, Victoria, and then you start to, like with the mask that you brought up, you start to believe the hype. So, because the mask is now glued to his face, he became that, but then that's not who you are completely.
Nope.
You just decided, okay, I'm gonna just show up this way all the time. But then somebody's missing a whole nother side of you because you decided to just let the mask blend in. But you're still not showing up as your true self if you allow the mask to take over.
That's it. And you're not happy.
Not for real.
One of the things, with my toolkit is, I give a mirror, a pair of scissors, and a few other items, right? And so one of the reasons why I give you the mirror is not to look at you this way while you see your reflection. I often tell you to turn the mirror on the backside.
Okay.
Because on the backside, there ain't nothing there.
Ain't nothing there.
If you took your mirror out and you flipped it on the backside, what you gonna see? Nothing. But most of the time, that's where we think we're looking at the reflection part, but most of us are really looking on the backside. You're looking on the backside of that mirror because you're not really seeing the true reflection, right? And so when I think about the scissors, you got to cut off this fakeness. You have to cut loose of the things that's holding you bondage to yourself. We are holding ourselves hostage in our own castles with the curtains closed until somebody like Bella come in your life. And what do you do with it? And so oftentimes when I think about self and my theory with that is seeing yourself rise up, seeing every level of yourself form. That's what self is to me. It's on all of my t-shirts. Lisa, I ain't got to that point. I'm putting that joke on everything now.
Yeah, I got a t-shirt.
Look, I got to send you something. I got to send something new, right? But this is the thing: seeing every level form. That's what self is. What Beast learned was. It's the whole picture. When you say, "Oh, I'm self-motivated," are you really? Do you see every level of yourself forming in order for you to be able to function? See, Beast saw everything. He remembered how the rose was broken in the glass, and that's the reason. I'm not going to tell you everything. You need to go back. Right. When he looked at that rose, it was a reminder that he was subdued by things that he could not control.
Mm-hmm.
But he finally figured it out. And he did it before Bella even came. He knew who he was. He just needed a little, a little loving.
Well, so I felt like he identified with one, more so with one side of him, and just kind of accepted that it is what it is. Which I think a lot of people do. They just, even if it's a negative, they're like, well, I mean, I'm just hard to deal with. And they just claim it. And then they wear it around like a badge on their shoulder. Like, this is just who I am. We've heard about that saying. And when people say, I mean, this is just who I am. So you can't change. You can't grow. Are you good with that? Like, are you good with, and I had to think about, because I'm guilty of it as well. We kind of claim things for ourselves. And then after a while, we realize, so that's what identifies me? Yep. Because you realize, well, wait a minute. I mean, I'm more than that. Yeah. We are full people. Like, you couldn't be just this one dynamic. It's many parts of you, and you have to accept all of it.
That's it. And one of the things that, I say that all the time. I guess Simone used to tell me, you say that all the time. One of the things, I got to change that. It is a force of habit.
Right.
But this is the thing. When you even go look at the other characters, they help form what Beast thought of himself and what Bella thought of herself.
Very true.
And when you look at Bella's father, he thought there was nobody better than that little girl. She was the only angel in the world. She was the only person. And Gaston, he was the bully boyfriend. See, some people didn't even know what these characters' names were. They were just like the guy who wanted to marry Bella. That was Gaston. So he was sort of like, he had issues. But when Bella saw him, she thought that the Beast had the same issues that he had. No. Not. See, the thing is, when you look good and you got muscle, he thought that he could rule the world and have anybody that he wanted. Beast realized that having a roar, which meant that he was strong in his voice, that's what made the difference. Because even when they take, if you look at, and I think it's in the old movie, I know in the newer versions, but when you look at the two before he turned into a beast, and when he comes out from being a beast, and you look at these two guys, they're pretty much the same. One's just a little bit smaller than the other one, but this is the thing. If you looked at their outer appearance, they almost could have been brothers, but it was their personalities that made them different.
Right.
Gaston was manipulative. He was known for being a womanizer, if you will. We want to call him that today. That's what he was, because he looked good, he smelled good, and he had a big muscle, and he knew that he could. But that's not what you always need in your life, women.
And that wasn't the complete package anyway.
Yeah, he wasn't. And even
that's what he showed up as, but yeah.
And little LaPoo, I call him LaPoo, his little friend, he was the one that was calling the shots for him. He didn't even know how to get onto the horse. Come on, let's be real. See, sometimes you're putting people on pedestals that are not the real folks that did anything. You're
Absolutely.
looking at the wrong piece of the puzzle. But when you start looking and you start having some talks and some conversations, when you start being able to utilize the power of shut up and listen. See, that's what I love the power of shut because it's taught me to be quiet, not in a negative way, but in a positive way that I can see the evidence of things in front of me, right? If I'm
Absolutely.
always talking and I'm never listening, could I figure out what the end result would be? You got to be quiet sometimes. You got to observe sometimes. And the process of Bella being in the house, she got to learn all of the things that made him a true hero.
Mm-hmm.
When she had that conversation, she was even more because she had taken the time after he told her to be quiet in his nice way. You know what I mean? He told her to shut her mouth. And see, sometimes you need to read the other side of Lisa's book. You do need to be quiet and observe. He told her, look, chick, you don't know me. Go out there and read some books. Do something in the castle other than worry me. When she got that tone, that baby, you don't run things here.
Mm-hmm.
She began to start having the opportunity to look at herself.
True.
See, that's when she started turning over turning a different leaf. That's when her heart, see, this is the thing. If you had to put Beauty and the Beast on a lifespan, they would still be on it. See, right. We gave you the Disney gave you the fast version. You know, it's only going to be an hour and you're going to be in love. Baby, that don't work that way. Actually, I'm still waiting on Abraham. So you might have some things that you like about a person, but until you get to know them, you don't know if they're a beast, if they're strong enough that they can handle who you are, or if they like LePoo, who is so giving, right? There were characters that if you look at ourselves, let's be honest, if we look at ourselves on a deeper level, we would see our own faults, but we don't want to see them. Mm-hmm. We want to stay broken and busted and not want to be healed. Right. And so one of the things that Beauty and the Beast and the class rebuilding and building your self-worth is teaching us that in this process is healing that has to take place.
True.
See, Bella and Alan, they both had to heal from their past hurts in order to understand better what the other was about.
True.
Once Bella understood that Beast was a beast mode because he had taken charge of his process. He had taken charge of who he was, and he was on the road to recovery. But that still meant that he had to be strong. He had to be strong for himself before he could be strong for Bella.
True.
So in the same token, she learned a lesson. That she had to learn that she was not healed from her past hurts. So how many of us can be honest that building our new person, building that new Victoria. When I came into doing Elevated, Not Tolerated, it was and at least I actually pulled up the old logo and I said, I think I'm going to go back to it because it showed the strength, right? Mm-hmm. I came into doing Elevated, Not Tolerated to help somebody else. I had to understand that what I had to forgive about me.
Right.
I had to let Bella go and become a beast. I was Bella. How was I Bella? I'm glad you asked. I was still suckering down and taking all of the licks and still
showing up pretty.
Thought I had it all going on. But when the reality came that I didn't have it all going on and I had to go back to those times that I was in domestic violence, domestic violence is part of October, breast cancer awareness, Alzheimer's. Look, let me tell you, I've experienced all of those. I was a caretaker for my mom before she passed. There's things that will tear you down and will keep you hostage if you don't acknowledge it and recognize it. Everybody needs to go through the 12-step program, Lisa.
I agree.
I mean, it's a clear definition. It's not just about alcohol. Yes, but if you think about the concept, and that's one of the things that I stress with the classes is finding the root to why you feel the way that you do. We had to find the root of to why Bella and Adam was. We had to find out Beauty and the Beast, so y'all know who I'm talking about. We had to find out who they really were.
Yep.
What really caused this happening to them? And it's a healing process. You are a beast when you need to be one, and you can be a beauty when you need to be one too. There's nothing wrong with it as long as you understand the concept of it, understanding who you really are. Healing from our past wounds will allow us to be able to help somebody else learn what the journey is really like.
Absolutely.
After Bella got shut down by Beast and he told her who she was, look, y'all go back and watch the movie with a different perspective. He told her who she was. Girl, you ain't all of that. Look, you
I mean, that was a huge self-check, but I mean, I think, you know, the way we protect ourselves from the truth too is that we keep ameners around us. We keep people who are going to keep us up there. We going, you know, don't bring me down here. I'm supposed to be up here. And then you find people who are also wanting to hear what they want to hear, so they keep you up here because, you know, by lifting you up, you keep me lifted. But if you haven't done the work, then the lift can be a bad thing. And I think, you know, that's where you're trying to show that there are two sides to this thing, and we have to actually just find the balance because we're human. And there are times in your life when you're going to show up as a beast and people don't really care for you. But that doesn't mean that once you do some work and you recognize, okay, this is a problem, Lisa, not, you know, somebody else pointed my issue out, but I had to accept it.
That's right.
I had to acknowledge it. I had to receive it because I could have just said, you don't know what you're talking about. I'm good. I know what I'm talking about. I could do that. That would leave me unhealed. But the power came, like you said, in recognizing that, okay, well, sometimes I could, you know, this can be it. This can be me sometimes. Not saying all the time, but when we recognize that we're not perfect and it's okay. It's okay. That sometimes you might be difficult to work with. Sometimes you might be, you know, stubborn. Sometimes that doesn't negate the fact that you're a wonderful person. You have a wonderful heart. Like we always go one or the, you know, over here. And it's all in the middle. It really is all in the middle. And that's what I loved about the Beauty and the Beast. And I mean, it's such a thought-provoking concept because looking at Beauty and the Beast, you get the surface message, but when you dug into that, I think, you know, anybody listening today and as we share this will probably go back and look at that movie and they'll never look at that movie the same way because in your class, which, you know, I would encourage you all as Victoria kicks out some of these classes again, that you all really tap in because she even brought the other players into place, like, you know, the teacup and the clock, and as they came to life and what roles they played in building them up and getting them to recognize who they were for real. And I love that because that makes that movie that much more powerful. So I appreciate you showing me that because surface level, we can get it, but I would be the first to say that looking at that movie on surface, Bella was the beautiful one. Yeah, she had little things here and there, but she was the beautiful one that knew everything. And he just gained all of this stuff from her. And I didn't really dig into how they actually were working together. And they couldn't have gotten to the end of that movie. They both grew from that journey.
That's right.
Not just one.
That's right. And the thing too, Lisa, I know you about
we've been ready to say goodbye, but go ahead.
But there's some other things that played into it too. They had to find their boundaries. When they went back out into the real world, if you will, they had set boundaries that nobody would ever do this to them again, right? So do you learn from your lessons to set boundaries? And boundaries.
That's a whole other show.
Oh, girl, I have to share some things with you on the update. But the boundaries that they learned
Mm-hmm.
from coming together, they healed to come together to set boundaries around them that they will never be hurt again in the manners that they were hurt.
Right. That wouldn't play a role in how
It
they
wouldn't
showed
play a
up.
role. And they learned how to come together and build their true self-worth.
And that's the network in the community. Because we can't do this by ourselves. That's why we do what we do. Because in the end, we need each other to help us, to grow in this. Victoria, I appreciate you so much. We are definitely gonna have to come back because the boundaries is a whole nother conversation. We're gonna have to bring some people in and talk because that's a hard space.
Yes, it is.
I raised my hand twice on
Yes.
doing that, especially if you're used to being Bella the Beauty or you're used to being the Beast, and setting boundaries for both of them could look very, very different.
Right.
So we definitely going to come back and talk about that. But please let everybody know before I give you all a few announcements before we say goodnight. Let everybody know where they can find you on social media, your website, any information you want them to have.
Okay, so you can find us, of course, on Facebook. We have several pages, but if you just go out there and find Coach Victoria, that's me. You'll see my other pages that connected to our school, Elevated Not Tolerated Academy. We have a separate page for that. But you can always, just tap Lisa and follow Lisa. Well, Lisa showed me how you don't get to see everybody who follows you. You know what I'm saying? Lisa's no story. You remember how you told me that everybody don't need to see where you're going? Who's all your friend is. But look, y'all can find me. Just look for me on social media, Victoria Holland. The other way you can find me is through my website, Victoria Elevates, and that website is victoriamholland.com. You can find me at it's in the remaking because we took a little break due to some other issues, but we're going to get back into it. But you can find us anytime on there. You can also find us through YouTube with Victoria Elevates. Absolutely. It's time for you to be empowered, embraced, and educated to be elevated and not tolerated.
Look, I love it, Victoria. Thank you so much for your yes to come on here. You'll definitely be back, and let's tap into those boundaries. Before we go, everyone, I also wanted to remind you, because there have been some changes with what's going on with me that are very that I'm tapping into this beauty. That's why I wanted to do that, because this Beauty and the Beast thing is currently a space that I'm in. But I wanted to first thank everybody for continuing to tune in and support the Power Shut Up podcast. Please share this with your family and your friends, your kids, because this is a family situation over here. We're trying to just do better. And you kind of tapped into the Power Shut Up because being quiet, they all had to learn to be able to listen and be quiet to receive information that might have been different from what they thought. So listening is absolutely key, which ties that into the Power Shut Up. But I also wanted to remind you, for any other episodes and this one, you can always go to my YouTube channel, which is Lisa Dove Washington, and catch all the other episodes. You can actually even catch episodes from my last podcast, which was Luncheon with Lisa. But there's so much more to come. So I wanted to encourage you just to make sure that we're coming into the holiday season. So y'all know I love socks. So please don't forget to go grab your socks at notestosell.com/POSU, because I'm affiliate with them and I absolutely love their socks. And I wanted to tell all of the entrepreneurs out there that I peeped through the newsletter that I get. I peeped that they have a new sock that they have created that says, "I am an entrepreneur."
Lisa, oh my God.
I am definitely going to get those socks, but they have compression socks. They have short socks, long socks, just an amazing company. So please go there, use that link that actually is connected to the Power Shut Up podcast, because I'm an affiliate, but I would love for you to do that because I'm going to be using it too. And I wanted to remind you all, I have shared this, and of course you'll see it kind of start to happen because, I'm trying to do my thing. But I will be letting some things go and introducing some new things as I transition. This has definitely been a year of transition, but launching a Launchpad coaching and consulting with Dr. of Washington will be coming very soon. And it's really going to be a coaching and consulting business that kind of helps people who want to start their own podcast, want to be an author, want to be a publisher, want to be a writer. And I want to start to move into the space of getting back to basics. I realize that a lot of people are saying yes to collaboration projects and writing and things, but they're not prepared with the basics. So I want to be, because my publishing company did that. We kind of gave you the basics so that wherever you went, because we're not gatekeepers over here, but we also don't want people to abuse the information that we have and take it and just run with it. But Launchpad coaching and consulting is coming. I'm working on that. And the reason why some of these changes had to happen, to be very transparent with you before we go, is that I discovered that my websites, all of my domains, and I have many, all of them had malware on them. They were destroyed. And one of the ways that Lisa had to not go into beast mode and stay in my beauty position. So I was smiling, but I was crying behind the scenes because all of my domains were absolutely destroyed. But because of the support system I have behind me, when they shared that information with me, they only gave me about 5 seconds to be sad and mad about it. And then we went back out there and we redid some things. So going forward, look for the consulting company, but also look for which used to be Touched by Dove Publishing. And we actually did our last book under Touched by Dove Publishing was Our Scars Matter, with Dr. Florence Champagne, a beautiful book about survivors. There was 5 collaborators in that book. We were honored to be publishers for that. That was my last book with Touched by Dove Publishing. Thank you to my daughter for coming up with that name in 2019. But I will be continuing to publish, but it will be under a new name. And so when you start to see Soul and Story Publishing, just know that this is Touched by Dove Publishing, just transitioning into something new. So
I'm loving it.
I'm really, really excited about this, and it's more to come. I've been behind the scenes preparing for this. Thank you for those who are helping me to get that done, because there's been a lot of transition this year, a lot of revelation this year. So there have been many days when it's been difficult to receive, and a lot of days when I've had to get up off, my behind and shake it off and keep moving. And I'm just being totally transparent, is that it hasn't been easy all the time. And there's been many times that I was smiling, but it was tough. And that's okay. That's okay. So
I'm excited for you. Oh my God.
Thank you so much. So
I'll be socks on, Lisa,
because we got to talk.
Lisa, I got my socks on. The socks that you gave us.
You got them on?
Look, I would throw my foot up here, but y'all might look.
Wait, we might not see it. I wear mine all the time. I wear mine all. Look,
awesome.
And what do they say?
Awesome.
They say you're awesome. Yes, y'all, they have socks that say all kinds of things. Just go check out the website. They're wonderful.
The white one says, I forgot.
But thank y'all so much for tuning in again for another day with the Power Shut Up podcast. Yes. We look forward. Carrie says, I feel you. I feel you. Better days are ahead for all of us. Absolutely. And that's a reminder. Even when it's a tough day, just remember this too shall pass.
Yes,
and sometimes you just got to say it out loud, because when you don't say it out loud, you don't believe it, but just say it out loud. This too shall pass. Okay. Next.
It won't be like this always.
Whatever you need to keep you going. But thank y'all so much for tuning in. We look forward to seeing you next Thursday, and every Thursday, 7 to 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I do snippets of the show on TikTok, so you can also follow the Power Shut Up on TikTok.
Yes.
I do plan to go live. I don't know what's been holding me back, but I will be doing that.
Girl, me too.
Yeah, I will just, when y'all see me, just come on in and just say hi and you hear. But thank you all for your continued support. And Victoria, thank you so much for joining me tonight.
Always.
And we got some other topics that we need to be talking about. So I will be in touch with you. So
Most
until next week,
definitely.
I want to leave you all with this. Every show now, I like to leave you with something that's connected to the power shut up in Bible scripture. So I want you to remember Proverbs 18:13 is, he that answereth a matter before he heareth it is a folly and a shame unto him. That's the King James Version. But in a nutshell, y'all got to think before you speak. Stop speaking on things before you've actually heard what's being said. Just take a minute. That's all it takes, is a minute to think. So if you can do that more often than not, we on the right path. So until next Thursday, thank you so much. And I can't wait to see y'all again. We have some more great guests coming. We have a guest from India that's going to talk about education over in India. We're going to talk about that versus what we're doing over here. So great conversation to come. So we going out the country, y'all. This is global, so international, whatever you want to call it. But she is a returning guest as well. And we also have hopefully a cancer survivor, maybe a few that will come on and share their testimony. I do have a special guest that I'm going to bring on. We're going to talk about testimonies, and it's kind of going to be a conversation. I'm going to reach out to people that can share some testimony on how God has showed up in their life, because sometimes we don't believe it, or we think it's one way, but it can be so many ways. And I have a surprise guest that's going to share a testimony. It's going to have you understanding that, but at the same time, you're going to laugh your behind off because it's the funniest thing ever. So until next Thursday, please behave yourselves. Well, as much as you can. Okay.
Wait a minute now, Lisa.
I know, right? That's a hard one, but I do appreciate you all, and I look forward to seeing you next time.
Yes, we do.
Have a good one.